Alrighty, so today I wanted to expand a little bit on the challenges and barriers that exist with meditation. As I've gone over before, and if you've been on the website at all or read any of the stuff that I've done, it's a very simple process as far as what you're going to do during meditation, or what is what the process entails, what the activity of meditation is, or the definition. And if you haven't, I'll just briefly summarize that. It is the process of refusing to engage your thoughts, your emotions, your self-narrative that goes on pretty much automatically for most people. And so that's the whole thing, start to finish, is simply sitting there and doing nothing about your mind, letting it letting the ego dissolve on its own. It's very straightforward and simple. It's backed by very basic neuroscience, which I've gone over in previous videos, which is basically viewable by the default mode network in the mind, which correlates with this sense of self. It's built over time. We are continuously feeding this machine from a fairly early age, and the way to create something is to feed it and give it energy, and the way to dissolve or destroy something is to starve it. So from that angle, it's a very basic, simple process, and yet we have a ton of resistance to this thing. We have a ton of difficulty with just sitting still and doing nothing, as most meditators can attest to. So that's really the challenge here. The challenge here is not explaining meditation to people, because that's, like I said, can be done in 1 minute. You can hear that and it makes sense, and that's fine, and you're done. But what makes this difficult, and what I get into in the book later on, is sometimes referred to as kundalini, or the various chakras, or they're basically energy channels or centers that are located throughout the spine, or located along the spine, going up your body, up to your throat, forehead, top of your head, and each one kind of corresponds with different aspects of our just different aspects of our survival or our existence. And so that's really where the challenge is. To kind of make sense of all this, it's useful to think of or to understand why we've gotten to the point that we've gotten to. What purpose has this separate self that we've created? What purpose does the default mode network serve? And it's not just here because of some mishap of God screwed up that day or whatever. It's here for a reason. And so one of the quotes I have in the book is from Nietzsche, whatever it is. And he talks about how man is a bridge between the animal and the Superman, and that kind of illustrates what kundalini is about. And it's basically a ladder, between a survival-based, animal-based, egoic existence and a divine or unified existence on the other hand. And so we kind of have to look at what the use is of the animal, or what is the point of the ego in the first place? What is the point of this separation? And if you look at the animal kingdom, or if you look at the earlier human civilizations, then it makes a lot of sense that we were coming from a place of scarcity, a place of separation and competition, hierarchy. That is the world which we're attempting to rise out of as humans. So there's an enormous amount of momentum to that. We're talking about thousands or millions of years of genetic and hereditary momentum going on here, and that's and it serves a purpose. If you need to survive, you need to outthink and outmaneuver and outdo the guy next to you, and that's been the case through most of humanity in a variety of ways. It's not entirely that. That we've done a lot of other things that are not killing each other, but if you want to look at the track record overall, that's the that's the overriding kind of theme that we play out. And I think that's served a purpose for a while. We sort of needed to do that. We needed to play out the animal inside of us. We needed to play out the survival and the hierarchy, and we needed to develop, we need to advance civilization and create all the technologies and things that we have now. But I think it's pretty clear that we've reached the end of that particular mode of evolutionary whatever, so we're at a place where we can move past the survival-based existence, and that is the ladder that we're climbing. That's what kundalini is about, and that's what meditation and enlightenment is ultimately about. It's a letting go of this kind of ingrained programming that we have that keeps us pouring energy into the separate self. It keeps the ego alive by necessity. We have to cross that bridge of letting that go, and that's requires a tremendous amount of trust. That's something that we've been building and reinforcing over lifetimes, and so that is really the difficult part of meditation. It's not, as I said, explaining the process, because that's very simple. The complex part and the excruciatingly difficult part of this is the specific attachments and issues that are keeping us separated, because we are choosing to be separated. We are choosing to create this illusion of self. And so that's a tough knot to untangle for a variety of reasons. And you don't hear much about that. You don't hear a ton of teachers out there or meditation people talking about that. It's just do some breathing exercises. Let's let go of some stress and relax, and that's fine, But it's ultimately you got to get in, get your hands dirty, and see what this whole thing's about. There's a reason that we're depressed and anxious and destroying our environment and ourselves right now. There's a reason that we have this programming built inside of us, and we're continuously doing this. So so the process of meditating, the simple explanation that I've given provides the framework for allowing these other issues to rise to the surface. And so those are generally going to be things that are revolving around, survival-based issues, anything that's invested in keeping this sense of self and separation alive and well. And that's those are not easy things to let go of. They have a ton of momentum, a ton of brain energy and investment attached to them. So, this can be things like relationships, addictions, sexuality, money. It could be a million different things that we are continuously pouring our energy into in order to keep the ego alive, to keep the animal alive inside of us. And so that's really the tricky part of meditating. And I think, that's what interests me a lot. That's what what really prompted me to set this thing up and set the website up and do the book and all that in the first place, is because that was something that I went through basically more or less alone, and that's ugly and very I don't want to say dangerous, but maybe just unnecessary. I think it can be very helpful to have more of a community-based setup for something like this, which would ultimately be my goal, is to have a larger meditation community where people can work through this stuff and go through that process with a lot more support and people around them. And I think the demand for that will be a lot higher as time goes by. I try and keep myself focused on one thing here. So that is that's what the bridge is really all about. Meditation is basically a bridge between doubt and the animal on one side, the survival-based human that has got us to this point, with some exceptions. So that thing on the one side of the bridge, it's a fearful, doubt-based, survival-based animal on one side, and we have to move across that bridge to the other side of oneness or God. The ending of that separation, which is enlightenment. And we go through that individually, and it's it's pretty obviously happening in the world around us right now as well. We've taken this sense of competition and hierarchy and separation as far as it can possibly go. We're in the midst of, it's either destroy our environment, destroy ourselves, or evolve. And, that's always how evolution happens. It doesn't happen because we just happen to choose and say, oh, we're going to stop killing ourselves and just live in peace and love for the hell of it. It happens because we have no other choice. It's either adapt or go extinct. And it might seem dramatic, but that's what we've got before us right now. That's the place that we're in, and we've got to let go of our outdated programming from the animal kingdom and from thousands of years of domination and hierarchy and various civilizations rising and falling. We got to move past that thing and move into oneness. And that is ultimately what meditation and enlightenment is all about. So yeah, I'll leave it there for today. And if you want to get in touch with me, if you want to work with me regarding any of those issues that you might be dealing with yourself, then shoot me an email on my website, or you can send me a message on YouTube and I'll get back to you. All right, I'll see you next time.